Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are South.
Yeah, it's a beautiful afternoon for baseball in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Braves are hoping to roll on the river. It's the final stop on our three-city road trip, and a big crowd filing into the Great American Ballpark, where the Braves won in extra innings in Game 2 yesterday. Today, Julio Teheran's got the ball, a chance for Atlanta to win a series in this place, something that hasn't happened very often. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. A record-setting day in Major League Baseball yesterday. There were 7 grand slams hit. One of them came off the bat of Matt Adams, who made his presence known with authority in Game 2.
Yeah, it was no cheapie, that's for sure. To straightaway center field about 430 feet away. And it came when the Braves were trailing 1-0. So he put the Braves on top with this one. A deep drive off Scott Feldman, almost off the center field wall. And then he hit the game-winning homer in the 11th inning, an opposite field shot. So he is swinging the bat really well since the Braves got him. He's been a welcome addition in the lineup in the absence of Freddie Freeman. And when you compare the Braves' offense this season to a period of time before the last 16 games, which is the number of games the Braves have played with Freddie Freeman on the disabled list, they've been pretty consistent, and they're still getting their long balls. Let's hope they can hit a couple today in support of Julio Teheran.
Braves are 7-9 without Freddie Freeman. The offense doing its job in large part because it hasn't been just Matt Adams. The offense has been spread up and down the lineup, including by left fielder Matt Kemp, who's had a terrific road trip for the Braves. When we come back, Kelsey Winger will tell you about Matt Kemp's red-hot road trip as we finish things up in Cincinnati in just a few minutes.
Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
Welcome back into an absolutely beautiful day here in Cincinnati for the series finale between the Braves and the Reds. Now today there's a different looking lineup for the Braves. Brandon Phillips, Nick Markakis gets the day off. Matt Kemp slides up into that 3-hole, and he has been sneaky good this season. Now you always hear about 2011. That's the year they always refer to when he came up second in NL MVP voting. And he looks just as good this year. Check out this comparison with our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature. In 43 games so far that he's played this season, comparing that to the first 43 games in 2011. Better in almost every category. He's hitting .346. He has one more home run than he did in 2011 at this time. 7 more doubles and 30 RBIs so far this year. So he has definitely been a key piece to this lineup, especially with Freddie Freeman out, and he will look to keep that going tonight. Julio Teheran will hope he can keep that going tonight as Julio takes the mound for Game 3, the series finale between the Braves and the Reds. We have first pitch and starting lineup coming up with Chip and Joe after the break.
Brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less.
Beautiful day, as Kelsey said, here at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, right along the banks of the Ohio River. 82 degrees, 50% humidity, feels like 90 degrees. Gentle breeze is blowing from right to left. Better to face the Reds in Cincinnati this time of year than in July or August, when it will feel a lot hotter than 90 here in downtown Cincinnati. Hopefully Julio Teheran's hot ways will continue on the road, undefeated at 3-0 with a 142 earned run average. The Braves hope to take advantage of Amir Garrett, a former basketball star and part of an injury-riddled Cincinnati starting rotation, and Amir with his first name initial scratched in the mound gets ready to go today.
25 years old, 6'5", 230 out of Las Vegas. Split time early in his minor league career between playing college basketball and playing professional baseball. He got off to a rip-roaring start, did not allow a run in his first 12 innings in the big leagues, but lately it's been a chore for him. 90 to 94 fastball, slider, a changeup. Coming back from the disabled list, he was having a little trouble with his right hip, but appears to be okay and ready to go today.
And as Kelsey mentioned a moment ago, it's a Sunday afternoon lineup. Some changes for Atlanta. Nick Markakis and Brandon Phillips not playing today. They are able to pinch hit if necessary. That means Danny Santana gets the start in right. Johan Camargo gets the start at second. Standard alignment for the Braves 1 through 5, with Matt Adams coming off his 4th career multi-homer game in Game 2 of the series. A game that was won by Atlanta in 12 innings. And Joe, with 2 extra inning games played in this 3-game series, I'm sure Brian Price and Brian Snitker would love to see their starters go 6 innings or more if they can.
Absolutely, especially the Reds. The Reds went to their bullpen early on Friday night and had to use a lot of guys to finish up the game for them. One that they eventually won, of course. But yeah, they on a hot day too. The longer those starters can go, better off they'll be.
The Reds, one of the best defensive teams in the National League. Only Colorado has committed fewer errors than Cincinnati, and because of injury, Billy Hamilton and Scott Schebler are not in their outfield. So it'll be Alcantara in center, Duvall in left, Scooter Gennett will be the right fielder today. Suarez, Cozart, Peraza, and Votto around the horn, and the always impressive Tucker Barnhart will be the man in harness behind the plate. So a lefty the Braves will see today. Haven't seen many of them. In fact, this will be just the 5th game started by a left-handed pitcher against the Atlanta offense this year. We'll see how Ender Inciarte and company does. So far, the Braves are 2-2 against southpaw starters.
Be nice to get off to a good start too. Get a couple of runs on the board for Julio, something that worked for him in his last start against Anaheim.
So Amir Garrett is ready, and his first of the day is in for a strike. Mike Machlinski is the man behind the plate. And that's swept outside for an even count. Inciarte 2 for 10 in the series, and 0 for 6 day yesterday for Atlanta. And that one's headed for the stands left side. A lot of folks sitting under cover on this 86-degree day, the official temperature at first pitch.
Might take a trip through the order for the Braves to get a feel for Garrett. Never seen him before.
Lined over short. Inciarte with a 2-strike hit.
I think for Ender, he just saw a couple of pitches and he was good to go. This guy does not possess a good move to first. Maybe the Braves can exploit that too. High fastball.
So with Brandon Phillips getting the afternoon off, Dansby Swanson slides up to the number 2 spot on the lineup card. Dansby hitting .194, 5 homers, 20 knocked in. Showed bunt and took a strike. Braves are hoping that man, Ron Washington, will be busy in the third base coaching box in Game 3. And popped into the second deck foul by Dansby, and on the ricochet it'll end up down below us.
Showed you those last 5 starts for Garrett and how rough they are. His last start was back on May 23rd before he went on the disabled list against Cleveland, a good hitting ball club. 5 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs.
Four home runs allowed by him in that game. That's not going to work, but that fastball did. Dansby tipped it and he struck out. So Swanson's retired. Here's Matt Kemp. 13 hits for Matt Kemp on the road trip, batting .382. 2 of those 13 hits have been homers, and now up to 10 and 30 runs batted in. Little pop into right field, and Scooter Gennett is there, makes the play, and Kemp flies out on the first pitch. 2 men out, and Adonis Garcia's coming up.
When the Reds drafted Garrett, and it was in the 22nd round in 2011, When they gave him his signing bonus, it was with the caveat that he would earn it in portions over a 3 or 4 year period, because he would not pitch that much during the summers, go back to school, play basketball, and then rejoin the Reds organization typically in June. So it would take him a while to get back in shape. But provided he kept coming back to pitch, they would then give him another share of his bonus, and was a very good college player.
That skips up there. Ball 1 for Adonis Garcia, who's come back from his stint on the DL in good fashion. He's got 6 hits in his first 10 at bats. Off the end of the bat, popped up back toward us. 1-1 the count.
In terms of a move to first, Garrett's best move is kind of the old Steve Avery move, a step off and snap throw over to first base.
And the dirt. Nice play by Barnhart. 2-1 your count. Well, we said this on Friday night. If you are a starting pitcher and you are looking for employment, you might want to call the Reds organization. They have gone through a bunch of them because of injury. Their starting rotation has been ravaged by the disabled list. Slowly but surely, they're starting to get their main men back. As that went all the way to the screen, Matt Adams will get out of the way. A very wild pitch will chase Cincinnati to second base. And that's the biggest problem for the Reds right now. In their last 18 games, the Reds starting staff has a 7.87 ERA, and they're averaging 4 2/3 innings per game.
Just killing their bullpen. Yeah, when they got 6 innings out of Bronson Arroyo Friday night, it was like hallelujah.
Three and 1 for Adonis. And now a full count. So it stands to reason the Reds starting staff has pitched the fewest innings in the National League. Their relief corps has pitched the most. That's going to be unsustainable for the last 4 months. So they need guys like Garrett to step in and learn on the fly. He's making his 9th start. He's pitched 45 big league innings this year. Chopper foul.
Sure is nice to see Adonis come back swinging the bat as well as he was before. Great numbers against the Reds.
Ground ball toward Cozart at short. He's got it. And a high throw eludes Votto and ricochets into the dugout, and the Braves get a gift run.
That never happens. His 5th error of the year, but a very rare throwing error by one of the best fielding shortstops in the game. I don't know if Votto got up on the bag and jumped higher, if he could have gotten it or not.
Wasn't a whole lot of sunshine underneath those shoes at first base.
No, it wasn't.
But Atlanta happy to have the gift. It's 1-0. And on the overthrow, Garcia's awarded second base, and that brings up yesterday's hitting hero, Matt Adams. We talked to Matt before the series opener here on Friday, and Joe asked him, how do you like hitting here? And as you said, couldn't get the words out of your mouth before Matt said, I love it. And his career numbers prove just that. Adams in this ballpark has played 31 games, 9 homers, 21 RBIs, and a .330 batting average. And a high fly ball towards center. Alcantara going back, still going back, and right in front of the Reds bullpen, hauls it in, and that retires the side. Adams hit it hard. The Braves get a gift for Julio Teheran. It's 1-0. Say before we got going today, give Julio Teheran a lead and let him go to work on the road. And here he is in Cincinnati today.
He has definitely been a road warrior with this kind of ERA, second best in baseball behind Robbie Ray of Arizona. And it only went up because he gave up a couple of runs in Anaheim his last time out. His record against the Reds lifetime 2-2, a 2.23 ERA, and his 4 keys to pitching success today. Number one, as we said, save the pen. Go as deep as you can into the ball game and hopefully get some more runs to work with and get ahead in the count. This team, the Reds, typically likes to get deep in the count, run your pitch count up. If you can get ahead in the count, you force them to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, and Julio was aggressive. Yeah, he gave up the 3 home runs against the Angels, but we saw that in his previous start as well. He attacked hitters. And hopefully he can do that early on for a Reds club also likes to get going early on. They've scored first inning runs in 9 of their last 12 games. And Jose Peraza with a homer yesterday leads things off. He's the second baseman today. That homer, Peraza's only hit of the series. And Julio's day begins with a strike. That's into the seats to the right side. It's quickly 0-2. Julio's had great luck against the Reds. He's given up 3 earned runs over the last 27 innings pitched against Cincinnati. Lifetime 2-2 against them. And that was fouled off Tyler Flowers. We'll do it again. Still 0-2. And Mike Machlinski's going to help Tyler recover. That one got him on the throwing arm.
Frank, bring me out too, please.
And Tyler's going to walk that off. Well, yesterday, Kurt Suzuki just got beat up behind the plate, at the plate, all around. Now that's right off the bicep. Oh. They've gotten the forearm instead, and Machlinski's going to ask him to move along.
So back to work we go with Peraza. No balls, 2 strikes. An unearned run for Atlanta in the top of the first. Line drive into right center field. Peraza with a 2-strike hit. So no Billy Hamilton. That means Peraza is their next best base stealing threat. He's got 14 of them. And he's aboard in front of Zach Cozart, the shortstop. The rest of the Reds Toyota starting lineup features Votto, Duvall, and Scooter Gennett. Eugenio Suarez has really made strides at third base for them. Alcantara, Barnhart, and Garrett 7th, 8th, and 9th. Cozart off to a great start, hitting .335 this year. He's knocked in 28 runs and has an impressive on-base streak of 25 consecutive games.
Looked like a changeup that Julio left upstairs for Peraza to pick on. Speaking of picks, pick him off.
Right there for a called strike.
Grounds crew really watered down the infield before the game. In fact, they did it twice. Might be a little bit of a slow track over there at first.
No balls and a strike. And that's up and away, even count. Cozart is having a tremendous year for Cincinnati. Despite his error, as Joe mentioned, he's a very good fielding shortstop, and he's hitting .335. But he's a pending free agent. Popped up out of play, so the Reds have a decision to make. And the way they're playing, it's, I'm sure, going to be a difficult decision. You see what Cozart's done over the last month or so. The Reds are 4 games under .500, Joe, but unbelievably are only 3 games out of first place in their division.
Yeah, and for Cozart, when you're getting that kind of offensive production out of your shortstop and a guy who can bat at the top of the order, that's a real plus.
Flowers got hit again. And you know what Tyler's saying, it's going to be that kind of a Sunday. One ball, 2 strikes. Runner goes, and a high fly ball belted down the left field line. That one is gone. It's a home run for Cozart. .13th home run surrendered by Teheran, the 8th for Cozart, and the Reds are in front.
Like a 2-seamer that didn't move the way he wanted it to, except to the barrel of the bat. So Cozart atones for that throwing error and gets one back. One on top of that.
So 2 in, nobody out. Joey Votto's coming up. Votto at 281 for the year. And taken downstairs. All series long, we've noticed how much Joey Votto chokes up. So far, he's 2 for 8 in the series. He's also 2 for 8 against Julio with 4 walks. And he shoots this one toward the gap in left center. That's going to get down and roll to the warning track, and that'll bounce off the fence too. Joey Votto has a double. His 14th of the year. He just punched that ball and it jumped.
Second double of the series. 14 doubles to go with 14 homers. Middle of the plate. Stroke has really looked a little different to me in this series. Not just because he's choked up, but it's like he's trying to make it shorter too. He just punched that one, as you said, to left center.
So the Reds have a single, a homer, and a double in the opening inning. Still nobody out, and Adam Duvall is coming up. Duvall is the Reds' left fielder. 45 RBIs, one more than Votto. There is no question this is a Cincinnati team that is built around its offense. They are going to score runs. The question is, can they prevent enough of them to win consistently? Nothing in one for the Reds left fielder. And this one's popped up. Matt Adams on the right side, in on the grass. He's going to make the play, and he does, and there's the first out. I mean, look at the numbers for Brian Price's Cincinnati offense. Nothing wrong with this ball club, and there's nothing wrong with this ball club in this ballpark.
Right. They can swing the bat. They're solid left and right, up and down their lineup. Playing a little short-handed today. A couple of their outfielders out of the lineup. But a lot of power throughout the lineup. Julio now, that's 4 homers he's allowed in his last 6 2/3 innings of work.
Scooter Gennett, the batter. He's 0 for his last 12. With those injuries you mentioned, the Reds, the latter third of the game last night, really were down to their last players on the bench, and they just couldn't come up with a big hit. Otherwise, they might have won the game. Reds were 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position yesterday, and are 4 for 23 in the series. And a bouncing ball will get a man to third. And they pegged first in plenty of time. That's Johan Camargo at second base today. 2 outs.
That's a long list of guys on the DL. I have no idea what DTD means. Down today. Did not take. I don't know.
Well, if they're hurt, it might say to the trainer, "Don't touch that."
Yeah.
Because they've had their share of injuries. There's no question. Here's Suarez. He takes a strike. But again, for Cincinnati, that's one thing that has them encouraged. They are hanging in a weak division. Yes, they're under 500, but they're hanging in. And if they can get a couple of their starters back and take a little pressure off of some of these rookies that they have in rotation, who knows what can happen in the Central Division, especially with this offense.
That's what they're hoping. Get all their pieces back and then hope to be within striking distance. I'm told DTD is day to day.
Day to day. That caught a corner. Good pitch. It's a ball and 2 strikes. I like the don't touch that a little bit.
I do too. Way better.
If somebody has an injury. 2-1 Cincinnati on a Cozart home run. And Julio is pitching very deliberately. And that one up and in. Evens the count.
Got under that one. Pushed it a little bit.
Straw came out of the outside corner, so the purpose pitch worked out perfectly. But Cincinnati strikes with a 2-run homer, and they lead by 1. Santana and Camargo are coming up. They'll get their first look at former hoop star Amir Garrett.
Got to get right back after it offensively.
Well, it's not surprising that the Reds are employing a rookie starting pitcher. They had an amazing stat in their game notes. Over the last 3 years, rookies have started 186 of the last 379 games played by the Cincinnati Reds. That's 49% of all of their games in that stretch. And they've had 20 major league debuts for the Reds organization in the last 2 years.
Yeah, they had some guys that they were trying to be patient with over the last couple of years, not promote them too soon. Reed and Stevenson, to name a couple. This guy. Reed and Stevenson have run into problems of their own. They still like them. They're still top prospects. But their start to their career has been a little disappointing because of injury or lack of success.
Good live fastball from Garrett. Evens the count for Braves catcher Tyler Flowers, hitting .363 for the year.
This is where, when a catcher is able to hit what Tyler's hitting and take the abuse that catchers take, you can appreciate it. I mean, he's already had a ding on the forearm / bicep right in the middle of his elbow. So you know it's still hurting trying to hit with it. And those guys that can sustain high batting averages through the year, I applaud them.
Well, they had a guy here that used to do it year in, year out. One of the greats of all time, Johnny Bench. But you're right about Flowers. He's been hit by a pitch 9 times. That leads the team. Kurt Suzuki is second with 7. And Kurt got smoked twice in the game yesterday. And that was a day where he tried to corral R.A. Dickey's knuckleball, which means you're going to get dinged and hit a couple extra times.
Going to get beat up.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Santana waiting next. 2-1 Reds have the lead, and downstairs. And ball 4 inside. So a good start for Atlanta. After the Reds gave Garrett the lead, he promptly walks the leadoff man. So let's see what Santana can do. Danny getting the start in right field. Nothing wrong with Nick Markakis. But Brian Snitker, as the calendar turns to the first days of June and the weather starts to heat up, trying to find days to rest some of his veteran players. Today it's Nick Markakis' turn.
I liked what Brian Snitker said. He's told Nick he's going to try to give him a day off a quarter.
Right. Well, a perfect chance to do that with a left-hander on the mound. Quick turnaround after the extra inning affair last night. And the end of a long road trip for the Braves. The Braves are 3-5 so far on the trip, and that's in for a strike. Pop fly foul, headed to the second deck.
There are a lot of baseball people who will tell you different story or different opinions about, you know, what your team is by this date. Sometimes they'll say by the end of April. I think that's a little early. By the end of May, certainly. And we're at the 1/3 poll today. And yeah, but by today I think you know who and what your team is. Where its strengths are, where its shortcomings are.
Well, that's a great discussion. Let's talk about the Braves, who enter action today at 23-30. First, the 2-2 pitch to Danny Santana is way high. I think coming out of spring training, we expected this team to score runs. They've done that. Perhaps what we didn't expect was that Bartolo Colon would struggle as badly as he has. And no one could predict, obviously, losing Freddie Freeman for 8 to 10 weeks. As that ball is hit high in the air, deep toward left. That ball is at the track. That ball is gone. A moonshot for Danny Santana. He's got a 2-run homer. And the shootout is underway in Cincinnati. The Braves now lead it 3-2.
After that 0 for 19 start as an Atlanta Brave, Danny has begun to swing the bat real well. That's only his 7th at bat right-handed. He's now 1 for 7. And it was a moonshot. You're right, Chip. That thing was a mile high. And you're right. The team has played well in the absence of Freddie. Nobody would have anticipated that. And could the record be better with him? Certainly. And it will be once he gets back. But Colon's struggles have been not expected, quite frankly.
Julio Teheran struggles, I think, were unexpected. That's another name that I have to talk about.
Starting pitching's been a little inconsistent. Great start by Fultonevich here Friday night.
And Tyler Flowers keeps getting checked out on that Braves dugout bench. Keep an eye on that. There's a shot by Camargo headed for the gap in right center field. That ball's going to ricochet off the fence. He's going to turn on the jets and head for second and belly flop in with a double. So Camargo has an extra base hit. And Julio will try to bunt him to third base with nobody out.
This was a low line drive rocket on a high fastball. And hit the wall on the fly. Johan ripped that. That's his first extra base hit.
That ball hit the fence so hard that the microphones behind the plate could pick up the thud of the ball off the wall. And so the Braves really making Garrett work here on a day when the Reds desperately need him to go deep in the game. He may not be all that long at this pace. And there's the bunt. Can't do it any better than Teheran just did. A perfect sacrifice.
I mentioned as one of the keys for Julio Teheran to get ahead in the count. Another aspect of that in this ballpark is if you're pitching behind in the count, and that was a beautiful bunt, by the way. If you're pitching behind in the count here, you're going to pay with some long balls. Guys are going to tee off. Garrett's been behind this whole inning.
Little roller by Ender is fouled past Eddie Perez. And the count to Inciarte, 0-1. Ender singled with 2 strikes in the first inning. Advanced to second on a wild pitch and then scored on Cozart's throwing error. That made it 1-0. Cozart hit a 2-run homer in the first. Danny Santana's hit a 2-run homer here. And a little pop at his shallow left. Duvall coming on. Still coming. That ball's going to drop safely. And there'll be no play. It's a bloop hit for Ender Inciarte. He's 2 for 2, and the Braves lead now 4-2.
That was a thing of beauty. Just kind of put the bat in front of the baseball. And no man's land out there with the infield drawn in. It was too far for Cozart or Suarez to run that down.
So the former basketball star pitching, that's what we call an alley bloop hit for Inciarte. 3 runs across in the second. Well, maybe I used the wrong pronoun. Not we. Maybe I'll stick with it as I see your your face contorted in disbelief, which is par for the course.
Yeah.
Dansby's up. He struck out his first time up. Dansby's had a rough trip at the plate. 4 for 28. That's how to play right side. Dansby's down a strike. A walk, a homer, a double, a sacrifice, and a bloop single has plated 3 Braves runs. that scorched left side into the seats.
Trying to bury that slider down and in and couldn't do it. His changeup is usually his out pitch to right-handers. Let's see if he, there's that snap throw. Let's see if he uses the changeup on Dansby.
Barnhart blocked that.
Really like Tucker Barnhart. Solid back there behind the plate, and he's thrown out 52% of base stealers.
Good lead by Ender. He's going. The pitch is cracked towards short. Cozart will have a play. It'll be to first. And Dansby's out by a step. Enciarte at second base with 2 outs.
Braves haven't seen that many left-handed starters on the year. 2-2. Coors Light, cold hard facts. But against left-handed pitchers in general, the Braves are hitting .275 as a team. That's third best in the National League.
And so far so good today. 4 runs on 4 hits. Matt Kemp, then Adonis Garcia. Kemp swung at the first pitch and flied out his first time and just took a strike. Sharply hit to third. Suarez has it. He loads up and fires to first, and Votto's able to catch that one, and that ends the inning. The Braves get 3 runs. Danny Santana with a long homer to left puts the Braves in front. It's now 4-2 after 1.5.
Sports South is presented by your local Hyundai dealers.
4-2 Atlanta. Once again, that's the Roebling Suspension Bridge linking northern Kentucky and downtown Cincinnati. John Roebling was the architect, and he used the Roebling Bridge here in Cincinnati as the basis for his design of the Brooklyn Bridge in Gotham. It is a beautiful bit of architecture, and right across the river is
that Newport?
Newport, yeah, Newport, Kentucky. Some beautiful antebellum style homes right along the river. Beautiful neighborhood, great place to walk or jog. Not that I do that anymore, but I'm told it's a spectacular place to get out and get some exercise. Arizmendi Alcantara is the batter for the Reds, filling in for Billy Hamilton today. Tough times for the Reds got tougher. They lose their starting center fielder and their starting right fielder to left shoulder injuries in the game yesterday.
Both on diving efforts. They like this guy a lot, though. Can play infield or outfield, switch hitter, good speed. Was a big time prospect in the Cubs organization. They didn't have any room for him on their roster. They had to designate him during the wintertime, and the Reds snapped him up.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Teheran takes care of him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Julio today, who could use a shutdown inning. And Tucker Barnhart, the 8th place hitter, is coming up. I'm with you on this guy. Tucker Barnhart's an impressive looking player. Played 115 games last year for the Reds, hit 7 homers. 10th round pick in 2009. Born in Indianapolis.
Was he a college player or would he sign out of high school?
Let's see. High school. Well, let me back that up. I'm guessing high school.
Okay.
Doesn't say anything about college. Brownsburg, Indiana High School. He was a teammate of Drew Storen. And he can hit. That one's into the left field corner. And Barnhart's on his way to second. Vladimir Garrett's going to hit with a runner in scoring position and 1 out.
Already their 3rd extra base hit. Not a bad pitch, down and away.
Well, Julio's got a big strike zone to play with here with Amir Garrett, who's 1 for 16 as a hitter, 6 strikeouts, 1 sacrifice. That's fouled away. No sign of a bunt for Mr. Garrett, who's 6'5", 228 pounds.
Left-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter.
And he's wearing the elbow guard. There's a pickoff attempt. Mentioned a couple of times that he played basketball at St. John's. He later transferred to Cal State Northridge, where he played for Coach Reggie Theus, the former Hawk. And there's the bunt right back to the mound. Julio takes a peek, but makes the smart play to first. And it's a successful sacrifice. Peraza will hit with a man at 3rd and 2 outs.
Might have had a play at 3rd base. It was going to be close with the catcher running, but made the smart play to get the out. We're at a force play. He might have gone to 3rd, but not on a tag play.
So the Reds with 2 first-inning runs. 10th time in 13 games they've scored in the opening inning. See if Teheran can shut him down here in the second. Fly ball well hit to left. Kemp going back to the track. To the wall. Makes the play. And that retires the side. The ball is jumping in Cincinnati. We're through 2 and Atlanta leads by 2.
Welcome back into beautiful Cincinnati on Play Ball Weekend. Over 200 Major League and minor league teams are participating in Play Ball Weekend, and 300,000 of these wiffle ball sets will be handed out. All the players are wearing different patches on their jerseys. This is MLB's initiative to celebrate youth baseball and softball participation in the U.S. and Canada. Chip and Joe, we have plenty of future Silver Sluggers in the house tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, Kelsey, that is good for baseball and softball. The Women's Softball World Series going on in Oklahoma City. You got the regionals for college baseball for the NCAA also going on right now. A lot of good stuff.
And good stuff for the Braves today. Leading 4-2. Garcia, Adams, and Flowers are coming up. This weekend is part of the Major League Baseball Play Ball Initiative. We've seen the play ball markings on the first and third base lines. Yesterday on the national telecast, the play ball logo was on the left side of the uniform chest. Still there. Great initiative for our sport to keep the kids involved and excited about the national pastime. And so fitting that we get to participate in the play ball weekend here in Cincinnati, where the Reds were the first professional major league team.
I wish Major League Baseball would do something for the first game of the year and bring it back to Cincinnati. It was always the traditional first game of the season for 100 years. And then somehow, some way, TV took over and changed who got to play the first game on Sunday night before everybody opened up. Well, if that's the case, it ought to be Cincinnati every year.
I'm with you. Great tradition. They have a downtown parade here on opening day. It goes all the way through the city, right around Fountain Square, which is what, maybe a mile from the ballpark here. And they love their Reds here. Great franchise. That's popped up left side. Suarez over near the Atlanta dugout won't have a play. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sharply hit to Cozart. He fields and fires, and Votto went down to get that one and makes that play for out number 1.
Cozart's a little gun shy already after throwing that one in the dugout.
So Garrett, for the first time in the game, gets the leadoff man retired. Here's Adams. Matt fly to center field in the first. Matt with 4 homers, 11 RBIs in the last 12 games for the Braves. He had a 2-homer game yesterday, one of them a grand slam. Think about yesterday, June the 3rd. All the major league games that have been played in the 100+ years in the history of our sport, never before had there been a day with 7 grand slams hit. Adams had one for the Braves. Albert Pujols had one for the Angels, and his was an historic and milestone poke as well.
Number 600. Good for him. Congratulations. Adams just missed hitting a home run here, his first at bat today.
Alcantara had to go to the bullpen fence to haul it in. And now the 1-2 is popped up again. Suarez gives chase. The shift is on, so he's got too far to go and not enough room anyway. Many around baseball say the acquisition of Matt Adams was a great under the radar move. He's our AARP Getting to Know You feature today.
Look at all those extra base hits and 11 RBIs in 12 games. He hit a good pitch yesterday for the second home run. Drove it to left center. Good battle here.
Forcing up that pitch count for Amir Garrett. Was about to make his 60th. It continues. So here's the tote board for the Grand Slams yesterday. And for Matt, it was his first.
And some of those guys like Ian Desmond for Colorado, the Rockies are thrilled to have him back, and they are fired up about what he can do in their lineup now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And that sweeps outside.
You know, this at bat is kind of reminiscent of Freddie Freeman at bat. Spoiling some good pitches, falling behind in the count, but spoiling put away pitches, fouling them off, and taking ones that are a little farther off the plate till he gets a good count. See if he gets a good pitch to hit.
This is the 11th pitch of the at bat. And it's crushed deep to right field. Adams has homered again.
That had a familiar ring to it too.
We're going to have to drag him kicking and screaming to the airplane to go back to Atlanta after his series against the Reds. His 3rd homer.
And if he weren't with us in the first inning, he was very close to having one in the first inning to left center. No doubt about this one. Halfway up the bleachers. Gong gong.
So it's 5-2 Atlanta. And the home run ball continues to be a big problem for Amir Garrett. 4 homers in 5 innings in his last start. 2 homers in 2 1/3 innings so far in his home park today. Two balls and a strike. Back our way and overhead. Well, it's funny at first glance when you take a look at this kid on the mound. Just the long-limbed wind-up reminds you of Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, that's a good call. Really long arms.
Nice play down the line. Now Aroldis wore number 54 for the Reds. This kid wears number 50. But again, if you just close your eyes and open them real fast, you think, is he back pitching for Cincinnati? Great closer, who at one point was considered to be a candidate for the starting rotation in Cincinnati. They really went back and forth trying to figure out which role would be best for Aroldis Chapman.
I think they made the right decision. I'm sure he feels that way now.
And now the 3-2 pitch is taken downstairs, and Flowers is aboard. Boy, Garrett has had some long innings. Both he and Teheran pitching very deliberately, and Garrett's been, as you said, behind just about every hitter in the count. Adams with an 11-12 pitch at bat turned into a homer, now a base on balls. And this is Brian Price making his way to the mound here.
Well, he's got a good arm. That's pretty obvious. His secondary pitches, he's not able to throw them for strikes today. And at least in my first look at him today, that's obvious, and it's got to be obvious to the Braves hitters. They're pretty much eliminating any breaking stuff. Even though he's getting ahead on many occasions, he's not able to put guys away. Jake Buchanan, a right-hander, begins to loosen up. That would be a good time for a manager to ask the umpire. We were just discussing, how do you think he's throwing?
Yes.
Do you think he's got good stuff today? What would you do here?
I'd go with the right-hander.
Let's leave him in.
Here's Santana, a towering home run in the second inning. And that's taken downstairs. Ball one. Talk all the time about what Clint Hurdle used to say in Colorado, the courage it takes to have patience with young players, with inexperienced teams. That's what Brian Price is going through. And this ball is hammered toward the gap in left center field. Nobody's going to get that. That'll bounce off the wall. Tyler Flowers on his way to third base, and Santana has another extra base hit, and the ball is jumping off his bat.
It sure is. A little more playing time, and he is making the most of it. Don't forget that near home run he hit left-handed in Anaheim that was bouncing off the wall. This one jumps off the bat. Danny shortened up his swing too, right-handed. It's very obvious.
So after the ground out to short, a homer, a walk, and a double has Braves runners at second and third for Johan Camargo. They'll walk him intentionally, and Julio Teheran will stand in.
Julio can get a run in. Maybe two. Infield's going to play back in case he does put it in play. Corners are in case he bunts.
Swing and a miss. Braves have scored in every inning so far in the game. Driven down the line, but slicing into the stands.
When the pitchers take batting practice, among the things they do, of course, they work on their bunting, but they also, like the hitters, at times they'll work on situational swings in batting practice too. And in this case, anything hit to the outfield would get you a run. So if you're Julio, you'd like to see him try to hit a ball, just hit a fly ball. Hit your best bolt. And try to stay out of a double play.
Right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little work behind home plate by Mike Michlinski. That might have taken a chunk out of the dirt right at the back point of the Pentagon. And again, we're ready. The pitch is high. Full count. $80 pitches for Garrett already. Almost all of them high stress pitches. He's got 1 out in the 3rd inning.
Another golden opportunity here, 3-2 for Julio to get a good pitch to hit.
Driven toward right. Jeanette in the corner makes a nice catch. That'll be a sac fly. Everybody will tag and move up. And Julio does put it in play, helps himself, and it's a 6-2 game. That's about as good as it gets for Julio Teheran.
Heck yeah. Like I said, just hit your best bolt. Try to hit it to the warning track. And he did. Good at bat. First RBI of the year.
So Ender Inciarte is up for the 3rd time. We're in the 3rd inning. He's 2 for 2. Barnhart got just enough of that ball to keep the runners at bay. 1 ball, no strikes.
You would figure this is Garrett. Has to be Garrett's last hitter if Ender reaches. And probably only still in the ballgame because it's a left-handed hitter.
Two balls, no strikes. Swing and a high fly ball deep right center field. That ball's got a chance. That ball is way out of here.
Did he put a charge in that? Again, major league hitters, when you get a chance to just kind of lay off anything off speed that's not going to be a strike anyway, you can square up some fastballs. Boy, what a good swing. 3 for 3 in 3 innings. Not bad, Ender.
Man, oh man. So the Braves jump all over the Reds for 9 runs in the first 3 innings, and they're not done yet.
By your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
The Braves bats are booming in Cincinnati. 9-2 is your score. Amir Garrett surrenders 3 homers in 2 2/3 innings. And the young, injury-riddled Cincinnati pitching staff has to suck up a lot more innings in relief today. Garrett has now given up 7 home runs in his last 7 2/3 innings on a major league mound.
Yeah, a really rough time for him today. But it's amazing how this 3rd inning has been good to the Braves on this road trip.
Funny how that works, huh?
Uh-huh.
So Jake Buchanan will come on, and he will try to provide some long relief for Cincinnati. A 405-foot home run for Ender Inciarte, the capper to this 5-run inning. And the first pitch swing by Swanson. Cozart's got it, and that will retire the side. The Braves send 8 to the plate in the 3rd. 5 score. It's 9-2. Teheran back to work for Atlanta. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Kind of like the way this one's trending. 1 in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd, 5 for Atlanta in the 3rd. And now Julio Teheran can go back to work with a very healthy lead, with Cozart, Votto, and Duvall coming up.
It's kind of nice to face the top of their order with that kind of cushion, isn't it?
You bet. And a strike. Cozart made a throwing error that allowed the Braves to score the game's first run in the 1st inning. Then he hit a 2-run homer to put the Reds up briefly, 2-1. But 8 unanswered runs for Atlanta so far today. Fly ball center. Ender got a great jump, and he'll gather that in. I'm sure Ender would tell you that's not the toughest play he's made, but he makes the tough ones look easy, and he did that for Atlanta yesterday. A couple of gorgeous catches in Game 2 of the series.
If you get a good jump, you make it easy. Fun to watch him play.
Shift on for Joey Votto. And he hits it over the shift and into right field. A top spin lob for Votto, who's 2 for 2. So he's aboard with 1 out for Duvall.
Got a little bit of a looping breaking ball there and jumped on the first pitch.
Duvall popped out to Matt Adams his first time up. And in for a strike. Braves, as we told you, 3-5 on the road trip, have a chance to get healthy. Our first extended stretch of games at SunTrust Park starts tomorrow against the Phillies. After today's play, the road-weary Braves will play 18 of their next 21 games at home.
About time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the only road trip, as it were, is a 3-day trip to Washington to play the Nationals. But we've got the Phillies, the Mets, then the trip to Washington, and then a nice long homestand with Miami, the Giants, and Milwaukee coming in, and that gets us to the end of June. So school's out, big crowds expected at SunTrust. Hope you'll join us beginning tomorrow night. Start of play today, if I'm not mistaken, the Braves have played more road games than any team in the National League. And that stands to reason with all these 3-city trips.
Yeah. 13 and 18 coming in.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Didn't get the corner.
Good pitch.
Adam Duvall made the All-Star team last year, former Giant. The Giants acquired Mike Leake at the deadline in 2015 for Adam Duvall and a minor league pitcher. And a base hit through the whole left side. So back-to-back hits for the Reds, first and second, one away. And that'll bring up Scooter Gennett.
Like I said, nice to have a little cushion with the top of the order. Way these guys can hit. He made a good pitch with the fastball, didn't get the call on the outside corner. Made too good a pitch here to Duvall that resulted in a base hit.
So here's Scooter Gennett. He was acquired off waivers on March 28th from Milwaukee. Homecoming of sorts for Scooter Gennett, who was born in Cincinnati, and then his family moved to Florida when he was a child. No balls and a strike. And that one's speared by Teheran. He'll fire to second for one. A pretty double play will end the Cincinnati third. No runs, 2 hits, a man left. Julio has a shutdown frame and a big lead too. Kemp, but familiar results for the Braves slugging left fielder.
As great as that 2011 season is or was, this season he's putting up even better numbers through the same stretch of games. 43 games, more homers, more doubles and RBIs. The OPS a little bit lower, but my goodness, what a track to be on if he could somehow duplicate those numbers.
Kemp tries to get in on the hitting fun today. He's 0 for 2 and chops one towards short. Cozart gets a Sunday bounce and a perfect throw, retires Matt Kemp, one away. Buchanan needs as many easy outs as he can get. In a perfect world for the Reds, he holds the Braves right here and they don't have to make 2 or 3 more pitching changes. Their bullpen has been used an awful lot. And oh, by the way, after the Braves leave town, they've got to deal with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right. He's a sinker slider guy. Rarely pops it over 90. Curveball and change.
That's foul at third. Buchanan pitched 3 2/3 innings Monday in Toronto. That was the longest relief outing of his career. As this one's hit on the ground slowly to second. Peraza with the throw. So far so good for Buchanan. 3 hitters faced, 3 groundouts. But in this series, it has been the Mount Adams show. And no, that's not the Cincinnati suburb. It's the Atlanta first baseman who's hit 3 homers.
Great at bat here. After being behind 0-2, fouled off a lot of pitches and launched a full count out of here.
And a bouncing ball foul. Interesting note on Buchanan. Was an 8th round pick of the Astros in 2010. He went to NC State. He was a teammate of man who's now the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Is that right?
For the Wolfpack. Buchanan's pitched with the Astros and the Cubs in the major leagues. The 21st man to throw a pitch for the Reds pitching staff this year. Popped up out of play. That is unbelievable. Even in this day and age of specialization, that's, I don't know any organization that's going to have enough depth to cover that up. Reds have used 10 starters. They used 15 last year. The Braves know all about that. They used 16 last season in a starting role.
Here we go again, 3-2. Another good at bat.
And the team on that list that's the most surprising is the Mets. Nobody thought that their pitching staff would be a big concern for them. It has been. Injury and ineffectiveness. And when we see the Mets on the homestand, I'm hearing that Seth Lugo and Steven Matz are going to pitch. Not sure when. We've got 4 games in 3 days with New York. Remember, a makeup doubleheader on the homestand.
That's on the 10th, next Saturday.
Swing and a miss. Impressive inning for Buchanan. That is the first 1-2-3 inning in our game. Middle of the 4th inning, all Atlanta.
your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Our great videographer Sean Farnham was a busy man here in Cincinnati. This is the American Sign Museum, a great visitors attraction in Cincinnati. It takes you through a half-century of sign history, beginning with gold leaf glass designs in the early 1900s, to the pre-neon era of light bulb signs, to neon. Even the Sputnik-like designs from the Jetsons period are on display. The only sign that's missing is Uncle Joe's Fries, Pies, Wings, and Things. They didn't have a space big enough for that neon marker. But a cool place.
Very cool.
Eugenio Suarez is going to lead off for the Reds. Notice that Sean didn't invite neither you nor I to the sign store because the age-old question of how many broadcasters does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh, no.
There weren't enough of us to attend. Swing and a miss.
We don't ever want to know the answer to that.
There you go. Suarez struck out in the first inning. Reds led 2-1 after one. It's been all Braves since. He went. Reds like this guy an awful lot. In fact, talking with some of the Cincinnati people on Friday, they think he might be their most improved player. A shortstop who's been asked to play third base. He's a gamer, plays hard, good defender, has power. And still has enough mobility to maybe move back to shortstop if they decide to do something with Zach Cozart, either at the deadline or let him walk at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's kind of their plan. They've got a backup already in place if they move Cozart.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Suarez. And that's taken high. Full count. Milwaukee leads the National League Central. They have a 1-game advantage over the Cubs. The Cardinals are a 1.5 back. The Reds are 3 back. And the Pirates are only 4 games out. And that's not a good sequence for Julio Teheran. With a 7-run lead, he walks the leadoff man.
I don't like that pitch. He just missed. He's just missing with his fastball, his 2-seamer. Just missed getting a call 2-2. But to come back with a slider, 3-2, you got to throw it for a strike. Make him swing the bat.
So Alcantara is coming up. He struck out in the second inning. 1 on, nobody out. Home 4th. And that's upstairs. I'm shocked at the National League Central this year. Again, it's the division that saw the world champions come out of, the Cubs last year. The only team above 500 is Milwaukee, and they're 29-27. Popped up. Let's see who wants this. It'll be Ender Inciarte. Glasses gleaming. He's got plenty of room. And there's the first out.
Have you seen some of the averages, though, in recent days for like Russell? Russell's hitting about $140 and Schwarber's hitting $150. They're neither one doing anything for the Cubs.
And their pitching hasn't been very good. You saw the Cubs were on that list of teams with most pitchers used this year.
Everybody's worried about Jake Arrieta too.
Tucker Barnhart, the batter, he doubled his first time up. And taken outside. Well, they say the toughest thing to do is to try to repeat as world champions in back-to-back years. Hasn't happened in a while in the major leagues. And the Cubs haven't exactly distinguished themselves in the first 2 months. Cubs did win yesterday. They beat the Cardinals 5-3. Kyle Schwarber had one of those grand slams that we talked about earlier.
They have the Sunday night game tonight from Wrigley.
Two balls, no strikes. Good pitch. Barnhart didn't get it. It's 2-1.
And this whole thing about the Cubs players, well, they were kind of tired from the offseason. Oh, really?
Boy, that, yeah.
One offseason?
I saw that same comment made, and I think it might have been Joe Madden who was trying to defend his team.
Yeah.
But this one's hammered down the right field line, and it's a fair ball. Suarez on his way to third. He'll be stopped. It's another double for Tucker Barnhart. He's 2 for 2. And the Reds are trying to come back with the bottom of their order coming up. And Buchanan's going to have to hit for himself with the state of the Cincinnati pen. It's still a 7-run game.
Well, Tucker Barnhart has worn out both corners already. To say he's using the whole field would be an understatement. Right on the line.
But yeah, your point about the Cubs. Seems to me there was a team that we hold very near and dear to our hearts. Never complained about postseason fatigue.
Yeah, I read that. I just said, save it. I really?
Buchanan takes a strike.
Braves did it for a decade and a half.
And again, with all due respect, last time I checked, Contreras is a young guy. Rizzo is a young guy. Baez is a young guy. Chris Bryant's a young guy. Hayward. Schwarber. Can't be that tired. 0-2 pitch. And Buchanan puts it in play, but foul right at the tarp. We'll do it again. 0-2. So that National League Central race is pretty tight. The AL Central tight as well. Minnesota leads that division. Kansas City's only 5 out, believe it or not. The Royals have their offensive challenges this year, but they're a week's worth of good play from zooming to the top of the division. So parity in at least the Central divisions is a real fair way of describing how things have gone so far in the AL and National League Centrals.
And the Braves have played their share of games against the Central, and they're just 5-10.
Nothing in 2 for Buchanan. And he puts it in play and lines it to left field. It's going to be a run scoring hit.
First at bat of the year.
His first major league hit earns him an RBI. And the crowd acknowledges that milestone for Jake Buchanan. And the Reds pull a run closer. It's 9-3. And now the top of the order is coming up.
0-2 pitch, fouled off a couple of pitches. Target was down and away. It looked like a hanging slider to me.
So breaking ball to Suarez on a full count. Breaking ball to the pitcher with 2 strikes. And now the Reds have him first and third with 1 out and 1 in, and Jose Peraza coming up.
And a part of their order where they can start getting back in this game quickly.
That's the challenge of playing here, right? It's like the Braves ballpark in Atlanta. You have a 6-run or 5-run lead, you just don't really feel all that comfortable, especially with a 4th inning score. And had some zip to it. 93 miles an hour, maybe his best fastball of the day.
Thrown in anger.
Pop fly foul back toward us and into the seats. Little pop into foul ground, and in the first base coaching box, Matt Adams makes the play. Peraza's retired. Julio needed that. 2 away for Cozart.
Well, I like the fact that he didn't get away from his fastball. Peraza couldn't catch up to it. Instead of speeding up his bat with that slider that has been ineffective this inning, stayed with a fastball and jammed him.
Cozart's homered. He's also flied out to center. One thing going for the Reds is that by the time they get their starters back, they're going to have a nice extended stretch of time to figure out, are they for real? Are they in the race, or is this just sort of smoke and mirrors because the rest of the Central is playing down to the competition? First, the 0-1 pitch. It's hammered into center. Ender on the run. He's going to miss it. It's behind him, and it's going to roll to the warning track. 2 runs are going to score. Cozart's on his way to third, and a rare misplay by Ender Inciarte gives Cincinnati 2 more in the 4th.
I don't know what happened there. Kind of hit it off the end of the bat. He just missed it. He just whiffed on it. I'm not even sure it hit his glove. Maybe the top of the webbing. Surprising to me was how Cozart was comfortable just going to third.
Yeah, normal Zach Cozart, or maybe 100% Zach Cozart, he's thinking about it inside the park homer. But he's had some knee problems. And once the ball was behind Ender, he was happy to settle for the triple. And rather than risk getting hurt or trying to get the inside the park homer, he's 90 feet away, and Joey Votto's up, and Votto's already 2 for 2. So it's a 9-5 game all of a sudden. Chuck Hernandez back to the dugout. All this started with a leadoff walk. Buchanan, base hit for his first in the big leagues. He's the Reds pitcher. And now Votto looks outside at ball 1. The thing about Votto is he's not afraid to take a walk. And then you've got Duvall waiting next.
What was that?
I don't know.
It was like he was talking to the baseball almost. Hey, ball, don't come that close again.
3 balls, no strikes. And Votto does take the walk. He knew Teheran wasn't going to come to him in this spot. So Votto's aboard for a 3rd time. 2nd walk of the inning and game for Teheran. Now Duvall's the hitter. Again, 14 homers for this guy in 1 swing, and it's a 1-run game.
"27 pitches this inning for Julio. The walk to Suarez to start it was on a 3-2 count. He was ahead of the pitcher 0-2.
First and third for Cincinnati. And upstairs. The Braves bullpen will start to work now. Again, this is not what either manager wanted to see today. Braves have already knocked Amir Garrett out of the game. He surrendered 9 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Teheran's given up 5 runs on 9 hits, and he's not out of the 4th yet. And he got that call. 1-2. Put it in perspective, coming into today's game, Julio Teheran had given up 5 earned runs in 5 road starts. He's given up 5 runs today. And a swing and a miss ends the inning. Cincinnati, though, gets 3 runs in the 4th inning. They've made a game of it. It's 9-5. We go to the 5th. Braves Live to see our rookie analyst Jeff Francoeur make his broadcast debut. You can catch Jeff and the crew tomorrow through Wednesday at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports Southeast for Braves Live pregame, and immediately following the final out for the Braves Live postgame show. Jeff and Kelsey will be handling the hosting duties Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so we'll look forward to that as we entertain the Philadelphia Phillies in a 4-game series at home. So back to work for the Braves batsmen. Flowers, Santana, and Camargo. How about these guys? That trio has scored 6 of Atlanta's 9 runs today. Flowers with 2 walks, 2 runs. Santana, a homer and a double, 2 runs. Camargo, a double and a walk and 2 runs. So the right guys at the right time try to extend what's now a 4-run Braves lead. Can you believe it? Tyler Flowers got hit by a pitch.
On an 0-2 pitch. Again.
So Flowers is plunked for a 10th time.
Back arm this time. That's not too far from where he got the foul ball.
Well, he's got both sides of that right arm covered, the underside and the top side. Amazing. Here's Danny Santana. Ball jumping off his bat. And He'll turn around and swing it left-handed now. He's homered, doubled, and scored 2. A chopper, Votto can't get it. That'll bounce into right field. Flowers will cut the bag at second. He'll make it to third without a throw. And Danny Santana needs a triple to hit for the cycle today.
Probably just a routine out. Big hopper if there's nobody on first. But with Votto holding the runner, able to bounce it over his head.
First and third for Camargo. Nobody out. Ground ball towards second and dropped. One there. Throw to first. Not in time. So the Reds' middle infield has made a couple of gaffes that has helped Atlanta's cause. They would have scored a run anyway had there been a double play. But instead of 2 outs, a run is in. And Camargo's aboard.
And good hustle by Camargo to prevent the double play. He gets an RBI.
And the lead for Atlanta back to 5. It's 10-5 now. You were commenting just a couple of days ago about the number of high-scoring games that we're seeing in the major leagues now. 15 runs in this one already, and we're not halfway through. 5 teams were in double digits yesterday. In the run column. And a bunt. It's a beauty. Another terrific bunt for Teheran, who has 2 sacrifice bunts, a sacrifice fly, and an RBI.
That's helping yourself. Well, think about this road trip, Chip. Braves have been to San Francisco, Anaheim, and now Cincinnati. At every one of these 3 stops, those teams have said, if we get some pitching, we'll be okay. If we had more pitching depth, we'd be all right. If it weren't for all the pitchers we have on the disabled list, we'd be okay. It's rampant through baseball. There is not enough pitching, and certainly not enough quality pitching.
And with Ender Inciarte 3 for 3, the Reds will go ahead and walk him, and they'll go after Dansby Swanson, who's 0 for 3 in the game. Well, today 17 hits, 10 extra base hits total. Braves have 2 doubles and 3 homers. The Reds have 3 doubles, a triple, and a homer, and they're not done yet, are these Braves batters. I mean, the weather is starting to warm up. That's got to be the, well, depending on your perspective, the exciting thing or the terrifying thing. When it gets hot and the ball really starts to jump around the major leagues, what's going to happen then? No balls and a strike. Sharply hit, diving stop. Cozart can't get it. Runner around third. He's going to try to score. Throw to the plate is going to be late. Dansby Swanson with an RBI hit. Camargo came flying around third. He scores the 11th run.
What a good game for Johan. He got a great jump on the base hit. Of course, with 2 out, he's moving on the crack of the bat, but he was going. 21st RBI for Dansby. And just ahead of the throw. Good slide.
So the Reds' inability to turn a double play cost them a couple of runs in this inning. And now Matt Kemp is the batter. He's 0 for 3. course, when all these runs are starting to score and home runs start flying out, all the conspiracy theorists talk about the baseball and is it alive? Is it manufactured differently? It's funny how it goes in cycles. A couple of years ago, everybody's saying, well, nobody can score because the relief pitching's too dominant. Well, and that's certainly true. Everybody's bullpen seems to have guys who can throw in the mid-90s.
Home run rates are up, but not drastically.
Well, the sport wants the ball in play more. It's certainly been in play in this game. And this one's in play towards Suarez at third. He'll try a bare hand. He made a nice play. And Votto with the stretch at first retires the side. Cincinnati's defense hasn't been very good up the middle today. It cost him 2 more runs in the 5th.
Xfinity. Xfinity X. Is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Delta Airlines.
11-5 Atlanta as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 5, 6, and 7 on the lineup card for Cincinnati. Julio Teheran's got to get through this frame with the lead to qualify for his 4th road win. He's hoping, of course, to pitch a lot deeper than 5 innings. He could use an easy frame. He does not yet have a 1-2-3 inning. In the 4th inning, the Reds sent 8 to the plate. And they scored 3 runs. Braves have scored in every inning but the 4th.
How about a 9 or 10 pitch inning, leaving him at 85 or 86 pitches? That might allow him to go 2 more.
That would be just fine as the 1-0 pitch to Scooter Gennett is on the way. A fly ball left center field. Kemp on the run. Ender on the run. It's going to be NC Arte on the warning track at the 379 sign with a great catch.
Yeah, it's in the back of Ender's mind, that play that he was not able to make last inning. He's going to try everything he can to make up for it and make sure nothing like that happens again. Nice play.
Gennett retired quickly. Here's Suarez, who has struck out and walked. The walk to Suarez led off last inning. It was a breaking ball and a 3-2 count. Breaking ball gets him started with a strike.
His fastball has been good. His four-seam fastball has been good and well located.
Line and into center field. Suarez smoked that pitch on an 0-2 count.
Yeah, spoke too soon. Too good a pitch there. But a good piece of hitting too. Had it covered on the outside part.
So Alcantara's coming up. He struck out and popped out. They're hoping this kid can turn into a super utility type player for them. And so far for the Reds this year, he's played everywhere but pitcher, catcher, and first base. Today he's got the starting assignment in center field as Billy Hamilton banged up his shoulder in yesterday afternoon's second game of the series. Chopper foul. And the count even, a ball and a strike. Yesterday was a great day for Major League Baseball. We talked about the 7 Grand Slams. First time that's ever happened. How about Edinson Volquez, the first no-hitter of the year? He shut out Arizona 3-0 for the Marlins. And he only needed 98 pitches.
What a day.
To throw the 6th no-hitter in Marlins history. And it's a no-hitter that almost didn't happen. Not because of great plays behind him, but on the very first defensive play of the game, it was a ground ball to first with the pitcher covering. Near collision at the bag. Volquez rolled his ankle and rolled around on the ground for a minute, and they thought they had to take him, might have to take him out of the game. Well, he stayed in, and the rest, they say, is history. Swing and a high fly ball by Alcantara. That one's going to go.
Buckle your seatbelt.
And it's been the bottom and top of the order for the Reds that's done all the damage. Votto, Duvall, and Jeanette haven't done anything today. And all of a sudden, it's a 4-run game. (11-7). Second home run allowed by Julio Teheran today. And here's Barnhart. He's got a couple of doubles and a run scored. I wonder what the fireworks budget is for this place. All the home runs that get hit here.
Apparently they had a few extra that they needed to fire off there right before this first pitch.
Flowers got popped again with a foul ball, 0-2. Tyler will be very happy to take a nap on what should be a short flight home on our Delta charter after this game.
Well, Kurt Suzuki may be sitting at the far end of the dugout hiding after the beating he took yesterday.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Barnhart, as you mentioned, has been foul line to foul line in this game. And he took a shot at the left field line again with 2 strikes.
And he's been behind in the count.
So our hopes for a quick and uneventful inning for Julio won't happen. A single on an 0-2 pitch, then an Alcantara homer. And now an extended battle with Tucker Barnhart, the Cincinnati catcher, and 8th place hitter. Buchanan's on deck. Reds trying to squeeze as many innings out of him as they can, hoping that their offense can pull a little closer. It's 11-7.
Of all the dings that Tyler Flowers has endured the first 2 months of the season, that foul tip he took off the toe a minute ago may be the most painful. He's having a real tough time getting into his catcher's squat and getting up out of it. See him leaning on his left leg, trying not to put weight over there.
High fly ball right field. That ball is deep. That ball is caught the wall. He just missed.
Well, Danny Santana deked me. He got to the wall as quick as he could and then just started running alongside it. He's looking at the fence, looking at the ball, looking at the fence, back to the ball. Nice play.
So Jake Buchanan, look at his line on the scoreboard. As a major league hitter, doesn't get any better than what Jake Buchanan is featuring right now. A 1,000 on base percentage, a 1,000 slugging percentage. He's 1 for 1 and he's got an RBI. Strike 3 called, and Jake, as a hitter, it's all downhill from there. Reds get 2 in the 5th. It's 11-7 now.
inning, and Matt Adams loves playing here. 3 home runs in the last 2 games, and he was a home run when the Braves traded for him. Check out these numbers, comparing his numbers between St. Louis and the Braves. 31 games with St. Louis, 13 with Atlanta. The same amount of hits, 4 more home runs as a Brave, and 12 RBI. So the Braves really did hit a home run whenever they picked him up when Freddie Freeman went down, guys.
He's done great work, and Atlanta is 7-9 in the absence of Freddie Freeman. Freddie's now, I guess, a couple of weeks, a little more than 2 weeks away from the fractured wrist. We were told 6 to 8, 6 to 10 weeks, somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll find out what progress Freddie has made when we get back home tomorrow.
Well, I know he's been working out, doing some rehab. And I say rehab, probably conditioning type work more than anything else.
Back to the mound, and that'll take care of Adonis Garcia. 1 man down. The one thing you know that'll get a wrist back in really good shape is carrying a baby and changing diapers. I mean, you got to have a deft touch to be able to take care of that. So I'm sure Freddie's enjoyed time with Charlie here in the early summer weeks, and looking forward to seeing the Braves first baseman tomorrow night. Here's Adams, and he shoots one to the left field corner. He's foul line to foul line. Second extra base hit for Matt Adams.
Wearing it out. Left that sinker up just a little bit. The big guy reached it.
Well, you made an excellent point earlier in how Adams' production has been somewhat Freddie Freeman-like. Well, when Freddie's going good, he's a line-to-line hitter too. Tough to defend. So that's the 21st hit of this game. There's 1 out in the 6th inning.
See Tyler hopping there. It's a right foot. I don't know if it's the right big toe or one of his toes or if it's his foot in general, but it's hard for him to keep any weight on it.
Line drive into center field. That's going to be caught. Now Alcantara makes the play. And frankly, I'm real proud that Tyler's strong enough and able to even swing the bat as many shots as he's taken in this game. 2 outs. And here's Santana. Needs the triple to hit for the cycle. In order: a homer, a 3rd inning double, and a 5th inning single. And that single is a noteworthy accomplishment. It was his first 1-base hit with the Braves, and that's going to end the inning. He grounds out to send this game to the bottom of the 6th inning, where the top of the Reds' order is coming up. hot tub endorsement, but he ought to get one after the shots he's taken today, because he's going to need one after the ball game.
That's the one that nailed him right on the foot. Barely got any shin guard there. Still suffering from that one. He's also been hit by a pitch and took a foul ball off his forearm. That was in the first inning, that foul ball.
As I said at the time, he kind of had a wry look in the dugout, as if to say it's going to be one of those Sundays. And it has been for him as Jason Mott comes on to pitch. Julio Teheran was given a 9-2 lead. He went 5 innings, 11 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Braves relief corps has to cover up 4 innings today, but Atlanta leads 11-7. Dangerous part of the lineup: Peraza, Cozart, and Votto. Line drive into center, but Ender read that one well, and the Reds' leadoff man's retired. Peraza is out number 1.
Had him positioned perfectly.
Cozart extended his on-base streak to 26 games with a first-inning homer. He's also tripled home 2, part of a 4 RBI day. He's up to 32 runs batted in now. And another chance for Ender. This one's cracked deep center field. He's gone as far as he can go, and it's on the top of the Reds bullpen. A 2-homer day for Zach Cozart. And for Jason Mott, that snaps a streak of 14 straight appearances without allowing a run of his own making. It's a 3-run game now, 11-8.
You know, this is going to be a very interesting thing to watch with regard to Cozart, if they are trying to move him. That's 5 RBIs on the day, the second homer.
A ground ball into the shift, and Votto's going to be an easy out.
And the primary reason is that at age 31, they don't know if Cozart, if they want to keep Cozart beyond this year, and they don't want to go through one of those, what do you call it, the 1-year offer, the qualifying offer. That might be around $18 million for 1 year next year. Reds don't want that, can't afford it.
Well, I'm just looking at teams in the National League where you think, okay, where would a logical landing place for Cozart be if the Reds decided to go that way?
I got one that jumps out at me right away.
New York Mets?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought of them too. Miami. They'd like to upgrade Echeverria. They talked about trading him. The Phillies. The Cardinals. Maybe San Diego, although the Padres are deep in their rebuilding. But yeah, the Mets right away comes to mind. The thing, though, with that potential deal is Mott scampers off the mound and throws him out at first. The Reds want pitching, and the Mets have pitching troubles of their own. Duvall rolls out, but another homer by Zach Cozart brings Cincinnati closer. We go to the 7th in a 3-run game. Braves while on the go with the Fox Sports Go app. Download Fox Sports Go to your mobile device and take Braves baseball with you all season long. It's presented by Honda Lawn and Garden. We used the Fox Sports Go app last night. After we had a nice dinner, we sat around and talked a little baseball, had the app going while we continued our discussion in the hotel restaurant, and it came in great inside downtown Cincinnati.
That's how we got to see Adams' game-winning home run, as it were.
So here we go to the 7th. Buckle your seatbelts, as Joe said. It's a 3-inning shootout. Atlanta leads by 3 runs. Buchanan back to work. This is his 4th inning of relief. He came on to get the final out of the 3rd. Worked a 1-2-3 4th. Gave up 2 runs in the 5th. A hit and stranded a runner in the 6th. And as we said, I think 3 2/3 is his career high as a relief pitcher. So he's 1 out away from equaling that. And Camargo didn't get it. Johan now a 2-2 count. He's had a terrific game. He's gotten on base 3 times. He's scored 3 times. And he's knocked in a run. And he hits this one a mile high toward right center. And Alcantara is there, backs up and makes the play for out number 1. Rio Ruiz will come on and bat for Mott. Ian Kroll is the man loosening in the Braves pen. He'll pitch next. Rio hitting for Atlanta. Jumps at the first pitch, drives that one toward left. Duvall back to the warning track. And 2 outs. So that's 4 innings of relief now for Buchanan. Boy, he's done an excellent job.
When's the last time you saw that? Been a while, huh?
Yeah.
What a valuable asset he's been today.
Perfect day at the plate for Ender Inciarte. He's 3 for 3. He was walked intentionally last time up. He's knocked in 4 runs. The big blow, a 3rd inning 3-run homer that chased Amir Garrett. And a strike. Knuckled toward the Braves dugout. Suarez went right down the stairs and got real lucky. He got to that top step, looked like he was trying to come to a skidding stop, and his feet stayed underneath him, and he went straight down the stairs and landed cleanly. That was lucky.
You know, you heard the story about Dustin Johnson right before the Masters and how he slipped on some stairs and hurt his back. That easily could have been a bad deal for the Reds.
Popped up right side this time. Will there be a play near the stands? No. It's 0-2.
I mean, he didn't even land on his backside or his back. Can't believe he was able to avoid a real bad injury there.
No balls, 2 strikes. Major League Baseball has put protective netting in front of the dugouts now to help protect the players. I wonder if our sport will ever get to where we have, like hockey, a swinging gate, stay shut to cover those stairs up so that players don't.
Yeah, I could see that.
Doesn't happen often, but it only has to happen once if it's your good player. And speaking of good players, Ender's one of them for the Braves. A 4-hit game. I think he took that 0 for 6 yesterday a little personally.
Yes, he did. And missing that line drive hit to him today. Foot down, pitch down and away. Buchanan's got to wonder how he reached it.
So it's Ender's 8th 4-hit game. He also had a 5-hit game, you might recall. Those 8 4-hit games, by the way, career numbers. Also a 5-hitter earlier this summer. Here's Dansby, an RBI hit last time up. And a swing and a miss. Gotta wonder how much Buchanan has left in the tank. This extended relief outing. One ball, one strike.
I mean, only 47 pitches though, Chip. In his fourth full inning. Pretty amazing.
Now he's ready. And a chopper hit toward Cozart. He'll flip to second. And what a job by Jake Buchanan in relief. 4 1/3 innings of 2-run baseball. Incredible work. 7th inning stretch in Cincinnati. It's an old-fashioned shootout. Atlanta 11, the Reds 8. We will stay here for God Bless America on a perfect Sunday for baseball at the Great American Ballpark. Let's join the Reds PA announcer Aaron Sharp.
Major League Baseball, the Reds and the Braves salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Dave Burtis as he leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
They have lost 10 consecutive series. They had that awful month of May. I think they went 6-22. And with Ben Lively winning for them yesterday, it was a first win by a Phillies starting pitcher since April 27th.
And he had a fabulous game. His debut, 7 innings, a shutout ball.
And he'll pitch against the Braves on Thursday in Atlanta as Ian Kroll takes over. Kroll, the third Atlanta hurler of the day. He's got the 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming up for Cincinnati. Starts with Scooter Gennett. Scooter's had some trouble at the plate. He's 0 for his last 15.
Kroll pitched here yesterday. A good inning, had a strikeout.
And Gennett didn't get it. It's 1-2. Jim Johnson's worked back-to-back days for the Braves. He's gone 3 innings in the first 2 games here in Cincinnati. Don't know if he's available. And Flowers couldn't hang on. Already seen Mott, now Kroll. Eric O'Flaherty made his first appearance here on the 3rd. In his return from the disabled list. Jose Ramirez has pitched back-to-back games. Vizcaino has pitched back-to-back games. So options late in the game for Brian Snitker will be, as you just said, very interesting over the final 3 innings today.
Retiring that first batter for Ian, vitally important late in the ball game. He's retired 13 of 21 first batters. But lefty's only a 161 average against him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And out of play. And a Braves fan from Covington, Kentucky made that catch. (11-8) in the 7th.
Good try. Been trying to work him middle away and popped one inside and down, but didn't get the call. But make him swing the bat here.
Full count pitch. And into the club seats to our left. We'll do it again. Tenth pitch of the at bat. And Scooter put it in play, and he taps it right back to Kroll. There's a nice play and a good result. 1 out. Eugenio Suarez has scored a couple of runs today. Reds may be rebuilding, but boy, they've done a nice job of acquiring players from other organizations. Suarez came over from the Tigers in a deal for right-handed pitcher Alfredo Simon. That was in December of 2014.
Yeah, we talked about that Friday night. All the position players they've been able to accumulate. And their #1 pick last year is just tearing it up. Kid out of Tennessee.
Is that Nick Senzel?
Senzel, yeah. Every level they've put him, he has done nothing but hit. And he's the third baseman.
No balls and a strike for Suarez. The Reds AAA team is in Louisville. Delino DeShields is their manager. Jeff Facero's the pitching coach, and Jody Davis is their hitting coach. Straighten him up inside. 2-1 the count.
The Reds years ago, eons ago, were always, their minor league teams were always tough, always competitive, always well schooled and disciplined. You go in to play their team for a 3-game series, you got a fight on your hands.
They're trying to build it back here in Cincinnati. Bob Castellini's the president and chief executive officer. He was the man that led the ownership group to a sale completion in 2005. Dick Williams is their vice president of baseball operations and general manager. He succeeds Walt Jocketty, who's still in the Cincinnati front office. A swing and a miss takes care of Suarez. 2 out.
Well, they had Chief Bender for years too in their baseball ops, and what a gentleman and what a great baseball man he was.
So 2 outs for Alcantara. He's hit a home run today. That came last time up. 26,227 the official attendance. They have seen 6 homers travel a combined distance of 2,320 feet. Not a surprise in this place.
Nope.
Hitters love coming here. The pitchers derisively call it the Great American Small Park because of the way the ball rockets out of here. Swing and a miss. Looking through their guide, there are a number of former Braves that are in the Red system. Darren Bragg is one of their roving outfield instructors. Corky Miller, remember Corky?
Sure.
Roving catching instructor. Milt Thompson is a hitting coordinator in the minor leagues.
All quality people.
Two balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Ian Kroll made that look easy, didn't he?
Good inning.
A 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th. Atlanta looks for some more insurance. Big offense in Cincinnati. Big story in Atlanta. That's where Jerome Jurinovich is standing by. Discussion, a lot of talk about launch angle and how hitters in the major leagues are starting to adjust their swings to try to get the ball airborne. If the ball's alive and the parks are smaller and the weather is hot, maybe that's another reason why across baseball it seems we're seeing so much more offense these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've been reading some stuff reading up on that stuff, and there are some hitters that are certainly sold on it, but it seems to me that those hitters are guys who had power to begin with. All they're doing is adjusting an uppercut. Guys like Josh Donaldson, Daniel Murphy is a guy who was more of a middle of the road type power guy who certainly boosted his power numbers by making this adjustment. But there are others that may be trying to do that probably shouldn't, even though it's the success of the other guys would say, hey, why not try it?
Matt Kemp is going to lead off in an 11-8 game. And a strike.
Buchanan back out there.
Good for him. Right now he's the MVP for the Reds in this game. He is saving a ton of innings for their bullpen. In a 3-run game, that is not a big deficit to try to overcome in this place. In your day when you played, they didn't use the term launch angle, right?
Nah.
Uppercut,
yeah,
I guess would be the most common way to describe it, as that one's caught on a fly by Cozart. Kemp's retired, and there's the first down of the 8th inning.
A rare over for Matt. No, they didn't talk about that. It was just you're either trying to swing down on the ball or swing level, or the guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark were just strong guys who did uppercut a little bit, and in those days they also struck out more often than not.
That's right off the end of the bat, and Peraza at second will take care of Garcia. Quickly, 2 outs. Are you buying into the launch angle thing? And
well, I think there's probably something to it. Sure. It depends on what degree you're trying to do it, and I don't know if your swing is your swing and you try to adjust it that way. I don't know how long it would take you to really groove it where you feel like you've moved it 2 degrees.
Right. Yeah. I could just see Murphy. Well, let's see. That launch angle was 11.3%. That's 0.7% too low. That's why I only hit it to the second row of the bleachers.
I mean, Josh Donaldson came out about it and said, if you see me hit a ground ball base hit, it was a mistake. I was not trying to do that. I'm trying to hit the ball to the outfield and hopefully over the fence.
Well, you were talking with me last night about Will Myers, and you said what Will Myers does in his batting practice session is frankly something I've never ever heard a major league player talk about.
Yeah, his quote was that when he's hitting off a tee, he tries to hit every ball off a tee into the top of the screen. Not to the sides, not to the end, but into the top.
I mean, that's a term of derision when a youngster would come up and swing live batting practice. He couldn't hit the ball out of the cage.
Yeah.
Well, Myers is one of the best hitters in our league, and he's trying to do that.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. Shift on for Adams, and he hits it over the shift, but he's going to fly out to right, and Mr. Buchanan earns a big pat on the back, maybe some Gold Star chili too. 11-8, bottom of the 8th coming up in Cincinnati. As we told you on Friday, is the birthplace of professional baseball, and here in Cincinnati they have the Cincinnati Vintage Baseball Club. They play by the rules and customs of the 1869 game. The Reds were the first openly pro team, began play May 1st of that year. Their first game was a victory 45-9, and Harry and George Wright's club went 65-0. And the game has always evolved. There's no mistaking that over the last 100 and almost 50 years now. But in 1869, the game of baseball, as we would picture it, is almost unrecognizable to today's game. Not just the technological advances, but just how the game was played. No gloves. Gentlemanly conduct expected from players at all times. The ball must be pitched, not jerked or thrown to the bat. In other words, underhand with a straight arm from roughly 45 or 51 feet away.
Had to throw it where the hitter wanted it too.
That's right. Foul balls caught in the air or on the first bounce were an out. The umpire did not call balls or strikes unless the pitcher or striker is delaying the game by failing to offer or strike at a well-pitched ball. At the umpire's discretion, 3 strikes was an out, 3 balls was a walk. And nobody could overrun first base. Well, you could, but you risked being tagged out. If you didn't anchor yourself at the base, you could be tagged out. I think that'd be fun to go back in time and watch the game back in the 1860s. That bounces away from Tyler Flowers. Tucker Barnhart leading off for the Reds.
I'd rather go back to the 20s. Watch the 27 Yankees or the 30s and watch a Gas House game. Like to see Ty Cobb play before that.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Kroll is dealing.
One of the best outings of the year right here for Ian.
And boy, has it been needed. Patrick Kivlahan's going to pinch hit.
3 straight strikeouts for Kroll.
Buchanan was terrific. 5 1/3 innings of 4-hit 2-run relief. That was after Amir Garrett gave up 9 runs in 2 2/3. So Buchanan really protected the Reds bullpen. So here's Kivlahan with 1 out in the 8th. Speaking of old-time players, our condolences to the family of Jimmy Pearsall. Former Gold Glover, Major League broadcaster, coach. Passed away at 87 yesterday. Worked with my grandfather for a long time with the Chicago White Sox. Was a real heroic figure with his battle and his courageous battle publicly against mental illness. He wrote a book about it called Fear Strikes Out. It was made into a Hollywood movie with Carl Malden and Anthony Perkins. Movie by the same title. And I don't remember watching Mr. Pearsall play, but the great Willie Mays said he was the best defensive center fielder in history. That was Willie Mays that said that about Jimmy Pearsall, who infamously, after he hit his 100th home run in the major leagues, ran around the bases backwards. So he truly was a free spirit and a very colorful figure in Chicago sports history, and of course with the Boston Red Sox. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Patrick Kivlahan in the 8th. Don't give up walks. Not with the top of the order coming up. Fly ball toward right. Santana should have no trouble. He's got it. And there's the second out. Well, if you can't think of what to get your dad for Father's Day, get him a 4-game plan and pick all the games he'll want to go to. Take him to all 4 post-game concerts, grab all 4 remaining bobbleheads, or even pick your dad's favorite matchups over the final 4 months of the Braves regular season. Go to Braves.com/4game and get your Dad's Day gift today. 8 games over 7 days coming up at home for Atlanta. If you haven't gotten your tickets now, bigger crowds are expected with school out. Braves are playing good ball. And the Braves, as always, encourage you to get your tickets online and buy your parking online as well. Use the Waze app to get to and from SunTrust Park. The application will take you right to your parking spot, not directly to the ballpark. And it's a short walk through the Battery or the surrounding areas by SunTrust Park. And we'll be interested to see how the park plays as the weather warms up. It's already been a terrific hitter's paradise so far, much like this ballpark in Cincinnati.
Season high in pitches for Ian Kroll, 34. But he's been sharp in his inning and 2/3.
And now he's a strike away from sending this game to the 9th. Giants are trying to come back on the Phillies. That one's 6-5 in the 7th. Pirates blasting the Mets 11-1 in the 9th. Marlins and D-backs tied 5-5 also in the 7th in Miami, where they nearly had a catastrophe the other day. A foul ball shattered some of the plexiglass of the fish tank behind home plate.
That would have been a mess.
Yeah. They had that baby all covered up with duct tape. It looked beautiful. And the duct tape, not surprisingly, was the same color as the outfield fence, so it blended right in. So somebody's going to have to fix that down at Marlins Park. Two balls, 2 strikes. Line toward the gap. Ender on the run. Still going. He got there. Another great catch. He is incredible. That was a sure double, was it not for the flying feet of Ender Inciarte. Peraza robbed. Kroll 2 perfect innings, and we're off to the 9th. For the 9th inning, let's enjoy today's T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Up next for Atlanta, 4 games with the slumping Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out a way to win that series, as you pointed out earlier, against the San Francisco Giants. Really tough go of it, though, in the month of May. And not scoring, not pitching. Other than that, it seems like a simple game. It's not. Just ask the Phillies.
And Atlanta's beaten them 8 out of the last 12 tries. Hopefully they can add a couple of more runs to the total allowed by Blake Wood. It's his 25th game, and he's lost 4 of his first 4 decisions.
Well, he should hope that he could pitch 1 inning as well as Jake Buchanan pitched 5 1/3. Wood with a high 90s fastball, slider, and a split.
So Tyler Flowers will lead off. Courageous day for the Braves catcher. 2 walks, a hit by pitch. He's taken a couple of foul balls off his body, and he scored 3 runs. In fact, Flowers, Santana, and Camargo, the trio coming up, have scored 8 of the Braves' 11 today. And that's chopped toward third. It's going to trickle to the line and roll foul. And so the man with a sore toe is going to have to walk all the way back to the plate and try again, this time with a 1-1 count.
Tyler's probably thinking, you know, everybody else gets these swinging bunt hits. What about me?
Well, that replay,
yeah,
you saw how close that came to hitting his foot. I mean, so a rather lucky bounce for Tyler Flowers. And a strike from Wood. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Upstairs. We've talked a lot about how tough this park has been for the Braves historically. Braves are 21-33 at the Great American Ballpark, 12-25 since 2007, and they have not won a series here since April of 2009. And a liner is headed for the gap. That'll make Flowers' foot feel better. And he'll scamper into second with a leadoff laser double to right center.
And that foot was hurting all the way, but it sure feels better when you hit one like this. Low fastball just sizzled out over second. Good swing by Tyler. Has been on base 4 times.
So Danny Santana, another chance to complete the cycle. Great offensive year so far for Tyler Flowers. Santana homered in the second, doubled in the third, singled in the fifth, grounded out in the sixth.
What a good day from Brian Snitker's point of view to change his lineup, put some guys in there to get some at bats, try to keep them fresh, and for them to produce like they have today.
Right there for a called strike. It's 1-2. Braves scored in the first 3 innings. After 3, the Braves led 9-2. They led 11-3. Now it's 11-8. Julio Teheran went 5 innings, allowed 7 runs. But he pitched the required 5 innings with the lead. He's in line to pick up the victory.
It was a struggle for him.
Line drive, right center field, a base hit. Flowers was headed back towards second. Now they're going to wave him around. Throw comes into second, and Santana has a 4-hit game.
A home run, 2 doubles and a single, and 3 RBIs for him today. What a day.
The ball had a little more juice on it. If it had gone to the warning track, he might have had a great chance for the 3-bagger to complete the cycle. Instead, he picks up his 3rd RBI of the day. So it's 12-8 Atlanta. Camargo skies one toward Duvall in left. And there's out number 1. Kids Week starts at SunTrust Park tomorrow, and it runs through Thursday evening. Each day has something special. Come on out for unique kids experiences and giveaways all week long. Visit Braves.com/kidsweek and get all the details. So Ian Kroll's taken down after 2 perfect innings of relief with 3 strikeouts. And Nick Markakis grabs a bat. He's going to pinch hit.
First pinch hit appearance of the year.
And downstairs, ball 1. Fans just tuning in. Nick didn't start, but Brian Sticker had a funny line about how he plans to use Markakis. 1 ball, no strikes. Oh. And he steps into the batter's box. Did he step into one?
Yep.
Yep. And the home plate umpire, Mike Michlinski, appealed at 3rd. Mark Wegner said nope, he didn't swing at it, and he got hit.
Back arm. Thanks for hanging around for 9 innings just so you get plunked, Nick.
Well, that's what was so funny about what Brian said. I plan to rest him what?
Once every quarter.
Once every quarter. So the Braves black and blue brigade still at work in the 9th inning. And another chance for Inciarte to pick up a 5th hit. Lined, and he's got it. A base hit. Santana on his way to 3rd. They're going to wave him. The throw loops toward the plate, and everybody's safe. Ender Inciarte has 5 more hits. Santana scores his 3rd run. The bottom is feeding the top, and the Braves offense has scored 13 times today.
That's 5 RBIs to go with 5 hits for Ender today. 3 of them coming on a home run, but he got a high fastball, let her high. That is not launch angle. That is level and right on it, line drive. What a good day for Danny Santana. His 3rd run scored.
Dansby Swanson has a 5th inning RBI today. New career high in RBIs for the Braves leadoff man, Ender Inciarte, with 5 of them.
It's kind of crazy. The 2 guys without a hit, Kemp and Garcia, came in as the 2 guys hottest. Garcia was 6 for 10 in this series, and Kemp had hit in 4 straight, was 8 for his last 19. Those 2 guys are 0 for 10.
Baseball is a funny game. The 0-2 pitch is caught on and missed. Swanson strikes out. 2 are away. And Kemp will have a chance to get in on the hitting fun.
Entering play today, Matt was 2nd in the league in hitting. But one more chance to get a knock today.
He's at .337 at the moment and takes a strike. Got the Phillies at home tomorrow. The Phillies have surrendered their lead. The Giants now up 7-6 in the 7th. And the Marlins have taken a 1-run lead over the Diamondbacks. That one's in the 8th, and it's 6-5. Pirates just clobbered the Mets. It's a final 11-1. Called strike. It's 1-2. Cardinals and Cubs get started at 7:35 from Wrigley Field. Hendricks and Waka are the starting pitchers tonight. The Nationals are in Oakland this afternoon. It's been a week-long stay in San Francisco for the Washington club, as Kemp fouled a ball off his lower body. Where'd this get him?
Knee. Very similar to the foul ball that Phillips hit off his knee in San Francisco.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
You're getting into some guys now with that Reds bullpen that have been used a lot. Buchanan saved them so many innings today. Great job. But I think you're seeing some of the fatigue on Blake Wood right here. Taking forever to throw pitches. And a lot of them not where he wants them. This is his 3rd straight day.
And that doesn't even count the number of times he's gotten up and warmed up to come into a game. Again, the Reds pen has pitched more innings than anybody else in relief. And Wood just took care of Matt Kemp, and the Braves are done in the 9th inning. 2 more runs are across. Atlanta needs 3 more outs for a series win.
Sherwin-Williams.
Chip and Joe with you from the Great American Ballpark, where the Braves are 3 outs away from their first series win in Cincinnati since 2009. It's the Braves 13, the Reds 8. Luke Jackson is on to pitch.
And he's had some rest. He last worked in Anaheim on the 30th of May, and he worked right at 3 innings, 2 2/3, 2 hits of shutout ball, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Worked 2 innings of relief in San Francisco 3 days before that. 1 hit, no runs. He's done a nice job. He'll try to wrap it up here.
With the 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up for Cincinnati. Cozart, 3 hits, all 3 of them extra base hits. 2 homers and a triple. He's knocked in 5 runs. "13 runs, 14 hits for the Braves, 8 runs, 12 hits, an error for the Reds, who led this game 2-1 after 1. Right there, a strike.
Good comeback.
But he walks the leadoff man. That's only the 3rd walk by my count issued by the Braves staff today. The Reds walked 4 men, but base runners all over the place. We've had 4 1, 2, 3 half innings. Here's Votto. And out of play. 6 home runs hit in Cincinnati today. Braves hit 3, the Reds hit 3.
Looks a little frisky. He's had all this rest and overthrowing a little bit.
Bouncing ball to first, and Adams will make the sure play. Votto's retired for out number 1. Xfinity's presentation of Braves Live follows us from Cincinnati. It's coming up in a moment. 2 more outs to get with Duvall coming up.
Braves did a good job on Votto in this series. I know he got his share of hits, but to my knowledge, he didn't drive in a run.
Yeah, very minor damage from Joey Votto. And whatever the Braves did in this series, they'll file away for the next time we see Cincinnati, August 18th, 19th, and 20th, when they make their first and only visit to SunTrust Park this year. Duvall 1 for 4 with a strikeout back in the 4th inning. His hit was a 3rd inning single. And there have not been many 1-base hits in this game. Of the 26 hits, 15 of them have been for extra bases combined by the clubs.
And they have all been ripped.
0-2. Braves to this point have cooled off Adam Duvall a bit. Like Joey Votto, he's gotten his share of hits, but not a whole lot of damage. Jackson's hoping that continues with one out in the 9th. And that's out of play, upper deck.
Luke Jackson came to the Braves in the trade for Terrell Jenkins in the offseason. 8 games in the big leagues for the big club last year, but had good numbers at both Round Rock and Frisco. He was the 45th player taken in the draft in 2010.
Broke his bat with that pitch inside. 0-2. One thing we know the Braves have been very eager to do is to restock their farm system, and John Coppola has certainly taken some flyers on guys that have been picked relatively high in the draft that just didn't work out with their other organizations. And the problem with Jackson was just not enough strikes. He's done a good job of controlling his control here at the major league level with the Braves. The other Jackson is Austin Jackson, I believe, the catcher, and he's back behind the plate. #1 pick with Seattle. Now he's in the Braves organization and doing good work.
Yeah, the Braves had a bunch of guys just named to the midseason All-Star team in the Florida State League. Carlos Castro, Braxton Davidson, Alex Jackson, you just mentioned, Tyler Nelsoni, Austin Riley, Drew Harrington, Tyler Pike, and Devon Watts. Might be Devon Watts, beg your pardon if that's incorrect.
Swing and a miss. Duvall is retired. Oh, so the Braves have one half of the Florida State League roster taken care of.
No kidding.
And with good reason. Alex Jackson with 10 homers. Carlos Castro, a first baseman, hitting .326. Devon Watts, a 1.74 ERA in relief. Tyler Pike, a .213 ERA and 62 strikeouts in 63 innings.
And his ERA has been under 2 until like the last week.
One ball, no strikes. And that's foul to the screen. Want to wish Chris Medlin good luck tonight. He's pitching against Biloxi for the Mississippi Braves. Chris trying to make his way back to the big leagues for the Braves. He's going to try to help Mississippi win another game against Jackson. I take that back. It's Biloxi tonight. They beat Jackson yesterday. My mistake. Mississippi Braves trying to get back to 500. And 28-28. One ball, one strike. Travis Demerit had a couple of home runs for Mississippi yesterday. Ronald Acuna hitting .389 in 95 at bats.
Yeah, for Demerit, I think that's 9 homers. Good for him.
So the Braves are a strike away. 1-2 your count. And that's your ball game. The Braves have won a series in Cincinnati, a slugfest on a sunny Sunday afternoon. 13-8 is the final score. The Sunday lineup for Brian Snitker made everything come up roses for Atlanta, which takes 2 out of 3 and wraps up this road trip with a 4-5 record. There's your game summary. Hits all around for the Bravos this afternoon, 14 in total, and Julio Teheran with 5 innings survives to earn his 5th win of the year.
Fun to watch always when the offense is going crazy. It's nuts.
So 13-8 is your final score. The Braves beat the Cincinnati Reds, and we're ready to get back home. 4 with the Philadelphia Phillies starting tomorrow night. It's Kids Week at SunTrust Park. We hope you'll make your plans.